it's me, Soile, from the editing mode. I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that this week, for some reason, we had difficulties with Isabelle's audio. So, because of that, some of the lines or comments might be edited, or they might sound weird and not like hurried. I don't know what was wrong, but hopefully next week we'll be better with that. But I hope you enjoy the episode nonetheless.
Oh my god, it's a Norwegian horse!
No, the Mongolian horse.
Oh. Welcome to the Heart to Heartland podcast. Here are your hosts.
And we're back this week, and we have Jenna with us. Hi, Jenna.
Hi.
Thanks for getting up early for this. Hi.
Yeah.
Featuring Tommy in the background taking a hardcore cat nap. And of course, Soile is here as well.
Yeah, like, who cares?
All right, let's start with the updates.
We have the typical season 15 promotion from Bay and Amber. They did an interview for Popternative and Hey Alexandra. Amber did this interview with Talent Talk. So I'm gonna link those in the description. So if you haven't seen them, check them out.
Sweet. And we had quite a birthday week. So the Katie twins, Jordan and Kira, had their birthday on the 6th, and then Madison and Aiden, their birthdays was both yesterday.
9th?
What's today, the 10th? Today's, yes, will be the 9th.
Yeah. We don't even know dates, like, you know.
No,
we have to do
it's
math
the
and-
number thing. It's the
Yeah.
number thing.
Yeah. And last week we talked about Heartland being one of the most watched shows in France and UK, I think it was. And currently in the US, Heartland is 6th most watched show. I think from shows that are not Netflix originals.
Oh, okay. That's still impressive. And the funny thing is they show all these stats for the other countries. We have absolutely no idea how it does in Canada.
Yeah, I wonder if the fact that you have it on CPC Gem makes any difference, or
Yeah, there's ways to access the gem from other countries too. So
yeah, true.
So Amber, okay, this is exciting. I'm really excited about this. The first in-person event is happening since COVID started. So Amber is going to be in Saskatchewan at the exhibition event. It's a two-parter, so there's going to be a meet and greet, which is unfortunately already sold out. Those tickets went for $50, and then there's also a dinner with Amber option that is $95, and I believe the tickets are still available. That is the 25th and 26th of this month. So there's more info on her Instagram and their website as well. Keep in mind you have to be vaccinated or have proof of a negative COVID test. So
Yeah. So if there are tickets
It is
still
what it is.
available, check out
don't buy
the-
tickets if you don't have that set up, because then
Yeah.
that ain't good. To keep everybody safe.
And as for every Sunday, Aiden had his live with a couple of technical difficulties this week, but it apparently was an Instagram thing and not related to him not knowing
We're gonna
what to
blame
do.
it on Instagram, Aiden.
Yeah,
We're
but
gonna blame it on Instagram for
it was
you.
kind of funny because
was.
this happened before the episode aired,
Mhm.
the 4th episode, and in the episode, Rick said something like, "I'm good with technology" or something, and I was like, a little on the nose.
Speak for yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And in the live, he had Michelle, Adrian Spencer, who plays Cooper, and Van featured. And while Michelle was on, she mentioned that there will be a character who plays Rick's mother this season.
Yes.
She's played by Gabrielle Rose. And this is something you actually mentioned when we were speculating about
Yeah,
who
I
should
called this
be.
one.
Yeah, so
I called this one, guys.
yeah.
Doesn't happen too often. Oh, and speaking of this live, I want credit for the Where is Carl thing. I started that. That last live. I want credits. If we're selling hoodies, I want compensation, or I at least want a free hoodie. Hashtag Where is Carl? Hashtag I started it.
So Aiden, if you're listening, a lawsuit is coming if you're not.
Yeah, I'm gonna, unless if you send a hoodie to my P.O. box, then we're square. But there was a lot of stuff that Michelle talked about on this live. What was like some of your favorite parts, Jenna?
I liked it when she was talking about like directing and how I mean, I know she has her own company now, but it's interesting to see like she's so passionate about it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, she enjoys being on Heartland,
Yeah.
but she also spilled a lot of tea.
She did, and it's like she did it with such few words too. It was a masterpiece. Well, she was just she was going through, and I love when people actually read the comments on their live stream. So many like people don't do that. So Michelle's reading them and just giving them quick answers, and it's like, "Where's Alicia? Can't talk about that." Favorite orgy.
She literally closed the door on her son because she was busy doing Heartland stuff.
No, but she's like, "Oh, I got all the time in the world." Closes the door on her son. And then, like 2 hours later, she's at this hockey game on her Instagram. It's like,
Just
okay,
hanging out.
yeah, God, I love her.
Yeah, I love the part where Aiden was showing off his hoodie, and he was like, "Where is Carl?" Michelle was kind of like, "Huh? What is that?" And then he explained, and she was like totally on board, like right away,
But
like,
she
"Oh,
needs a hoodie too.
yeah, like I want Carl to be casted, and I want him to be like a police officer or something." Like, I don't
We
know.
don't need any of those. But then someone brought up the fact that her first boyfriend in season 1 was also named Carl, and she like didn't even realize it was kind of like, oh, really? So if it's the same Carl, that's great.
She's done that with a few different people. Like same with when she was trying to think of Kit Bailey. She was like, "Oh, that girl, like Amy's friend." I was
No, nay. They were not friends. Yeah.
Her and Ty
But no,
were
she's
friends.
right. She's right when she said that she would give Amy friends because she needs them, and it's nice that other people see that too.
Yeah, and I thought it was also interesting that she mentioned that whole thing about, when Lou met Peter and he was the bad oil guy, and she was kind of like, okay, where did that storyline go? Because, that was kind of weird.
I never even realized it until, she talked about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's true. We just never really heard about it again.
Think of where Heartland is filmed. Here in Alberta, right? Like,
That's
Alberta
right,
runs on oil.
Was that what she said in
Yeah.
the live though too? She's like, because Alberta's big on oil and gas. You don't want to offend.
They literally call it Oilberta. Like,
Yeah,
but
it's the
yeah.
Texas of Canada. The beautiful Texas of Canada.
It didn't snow here, so we're good yet.
What else happened on the live? Okay, this part I laughed at, and I was like, what did she mean by this? But she's like, Amber's not humble. Not humble. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I was like, what was that? But I guess maybe she meant like she knows that she's like good at the things that she's good at or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And I was like, that's fair. There's a difference between, being stuck up and having confidence in what you do. And I think that's what Michelle meant, that Amber's she knows that she's good at what she does. Not humble.
I mean, she is the star of Heartland. Like, even like Michelle said that.
Well, and she went on to say that the secret to the staying grounded on the show had to do with Amber. So she's grounded but not humble, which I think is a compliment.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's hard to be able to balance both like that.
Yeah, and I guess especially with women, like you get a lot of women who are like apologetic about what they can do or like their existence. So it's like, no, you don't know what you're doing, so be proud about it.
Yeah. Well, she went on, from acting to being an interactive producer, and she does that on top of all her merch, her newsletter, her magazine, her calendar. And
she literally moved her whole house.
Yeah, and the zoo of animals that she has. Yeah, that's very impressive, and I wish I had that life too. I wish I had the energy for that.
Same.
And I mean, like, she takes the time to respond to people on Instagram, and a lot of the time it's very uniform, like straight to the facts, very proper, compared to say even like Michelle. Sometimes she'll just reply to people on Instagram and be like, haha,
LOL,
so funny, like,
you guys.
Michelle's like also from the live and from other things as well, you can tell how down to earth she is though too. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I love that Aiden had her on because the last time she tried to be involved with the live, she was in a car and it didn't work out.
We also Adrian was on. Not to like spoil anything, but like Cooper leaves at the end of this episode. Are we seeing him again?
Based on the notes that we've gotten from the set, like what I've taken down based on like pictures and Instagram stories and stuff like that, that was his last vlog that he was seen. So
they pulled a Jeremy.
Yeah.
Oh.
If he is, they kept it a secret, but like I kind of feel like maybe not. He's not coming back this season at least.
No, he yeeted himself out of that situation real fast.
Even during the live though, there was two different times Amber popped up and everybody in the comments went crazy. Like they didn't care what was going on. And then when Alicia came in, like a few people had said, "Oh, hi Alicia," and then that was that. She like left.
She was like, "Oh, what?"
You know how I like imagine that happening though? You know how you sometimes accidentally click on someone's live or something and you're like trying to get out? That's how I like
she just
that
took her phone and threw it.
Like it was not a few minutes later that Amber then made a post on Instagram. So that's why I'm like she probably didn't even like know. She was like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, because sometimes when I accidentally push like someone's like live thing and there's like 3 people, I'm like, no, I don't want to be here because I don't want to feel responsible of like staying and entertaining them.
And they know that you were there and then you leave and it's like, okay, that's just awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I hope he has more of the main cast on.
Someone was
That'd
like,
be great.
Bring Chris on, but he doesn't even have an Instagram.
True.
I don't think so. But that would be
that's a very good point. Yeah.
I'd like to see him talk to some of the crew maybe. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he can get Sean on because at least Sean has Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably doesn't know how to go live.
He'd be like looking at the camera. We just get
look at all these hearts. So
like
nice.
Like security camera footage. That's
like
it would just literally be his mustache.
Does he even have them right now? Because he's not.
Oh, his mustache. Oh, we don't know. We don't see pictures of. When they're not filming.
Like, is this a new hashtag?
Where is his mustache? Where is Sean's mustache?
Where's Jack's
How
mustache?
is Sean's mustache? Does it exist?
Having a vacation at Hawaii or something.
It was cool to see Sean's son on the last episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Should we get into that? Or do you still have
quickly gonna go through some of the YouTube comments because I keep forgetting that we also have YouTube. So and these comments are so whack. And this one particular person keeps commenting this on our YouTube.
Yeah.
Jack Hunter, bring Ty back and let caps lock Heartland lowercase b caps lock Heartland, not cap lock heart lost. Just saying. So let me reread that. Bring Ty back and let Heartland be Heartland, not heart lost. Just saying.
I mean,
that's how I
feel they're like the pain that's coming across.
I feel the pain too.
But at the same time, I'm losing it with the heart lost.
And all these fans keep coming back every week and commenting the same stuff about how the show's awful every single week. The same comments. I see that comment all the time. It's hilarious. This is in regards to the auction situation where I was scammed by the museum. Delia Gross, God bless, said, "It's called shill bidding and it is illegal. You should check out if it's illegal in Canada. Disgrace." Thank you. It is a disgrace.
Okay,
Absolutely.
But you still won, right?
Yeah, I have my blanket right over there. I sleep with it every night. Okay, this is a different video on our channel. Are you guys ready? Bring Ty back and let Heartland be Heartland, not Heart Lost. Just saying. On Heartland should have ended with the Borden family lively, happily ever after for a lifetime. Thank you for that. I just read it how it was, brother. Sorry, I'm trying not to cough right now. I feel like I'm in the public and you're trying not to cough.
No, do it. Let it out.
Hack it up.
Get through this comment and I can't. Okay, I seen this person, Derek Murphy, said I seen the first episode of 15 and it was Taylor or that. I can't talk now.
It was
Terrible.
It was terrible. I'm sorry to say, it really was. Story was really bad. Some of the acting was terrible. Only one to come out of it with some credit was Lindy. I don't know what the future holds, but if this is anything to go by, it should have finished at 13. That's all the YouTube comments. I thought they were great. Please keep them coming.
I agree with that last comment. Like,
yeah, the first
two episodes were dry. I was like,
I liked the second one though. Not that much, but you know why, for the Jack and Lisa stuff.
So let's start with Smoking Holster's comment. It's like a stable at this point, but like,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
are you reading it this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I typically watch an episode twice. I watched this one 3 times, not because I thought it was great, but so that I could try to watch it with an uncritical eye. In terms of it being just an episode without any connection to the series, I liked it. It had a bunch of Jesus scenes, which were great, with the added attraction of Lisa actually saying some things that needed to be saying and doing it forcefully. I guess this season is the one they have finally chosen to make Lisa an actual wife with a say in how her husband is acting. Welcome to the real world, Heartland. Married couples are actual partners. It's a relationship. You stand and support your partner, and you stand and tell your partner they're being an ass. It's nice to see on this show, and no, Ty and Amy were never partners. They may have been a romantic couple. They certainly loved each other, but that's really where it ended. The scenes with Parker and Tim are great, except you have to wonder where Katie is while all this Parker-Tim bonding is going on. And why is Parker on a horse after the carnival and not with Katie? Seems weird. Lindy brings Jack a bag of cotton candy, which is awesome. You haven't lived until you've eaten cotton candy with a beard or a mustache. The scene with the fishing was nice. Catching a small fish to release would have been a bonus. Logan and Amy are great together, by the way. Let's not mix him up with Tidley's. Logan is a foster. He's not on parole. He has no attitude. He seems to be a sweet kid who was dealt a shitty hand and he didn't leave. Instead, Cooper left. Huh. Did he leave his cowboy hat and a note? End episode review. Start rant.
The amount of burns, I could feel it physically on my skin.
Can we please leave the police and RCMP alone? Seriously, the carnival, the local pawn shop, no police force is that inept. Nancy Drew? Really? They couldn't come up with something better than that. Lou's laptop. Full stop. There's a town IT department. She's the mayor. Her laptop comes from and is secured by them. Lou's not an idiot. She may be lousy with emotional or relationship skills, but she's not an idiot. By the way, if they can wipe it remotely, they can locate it. Okay, one last on this. Who the hell would rob the mayor's office anyway? Amy's computer, Katie's computer, Lisa's computer. Did they check the pawn shop for the TV, stereo, the aforementioned computers? How hard would that have been? And shouldn't Tim have 4 of those trophies? Someone needs to remind the writers that when you're wide awake and hear things that make you turn and point your loaded and cocked weapon toward them, that's a hallucination. That doesn't happen with a memory. As a side note, a rifle is far more dangerous in a closed setting. Rifles fire through walls and there are way too many kids in that house. The weapon he should be carrying is a shotgun. No sound is scarier than the sound that comes from a wrecking shotgun. Okay, still continues. What is
Ooh.
it with the show and shitty fathers, and why are the men always given the benefit of the doubt for their bullshit because they had shitty fathers? I've never really heard anyone ever forgive Amy or Lou for their relationship issues because they had a shitty fathers. Two ironic comments. Amy tells Logan running away isn't going to fix anything. It would have been a good thing to say to Ty so many times I can't even count them. Jack to Amy, you look up to your dad when you're young. Amy's dad was a drunk and an addict. He left when she was 5 and probably drank the last year before he left and didn't contact her for 10 years. I don't think she ever looked up to him. P.S. Lou and Peter getting back together, and then like 6 barfing emojis.
I have no words for that.
That's a lot.
Every time, like, so I'm trying for this episode, I'm like, I think I'm gonna give this 5 stars, like, just to be generous, and then I read his review and I'm like, there's so much wrong with this episode.
Yeah. So I know these are kind of late because we're talking about episode 4 right now, but these were sent before we watched the episode, so I just thought they were interesting, so we should read them. Passive Opinions sent us a DM, and they were like, can I tell you a theory about something? And I was like, what is it? And they said, the theory is the burglaries are being carried out by Logan's dad. They mention more than once that he's in prison because he's a thief. We actually think that he's already been released because Logan is chatting with him on his cell phone. And at least in the States, that's not how prison calls work. So he's just in the area because Logan is.
I mean, I would have much preferred, and that would have actually been really brilliant if the writers, and I would have actually preferred them to do that.
Yeah,
then.
Because that crossed my mind as well when we were talking about the previous episode, but then it was like, but he's in jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then someone commented on my blog, let me check. That was Allie. Saw your podcast on episode 3, and this is about animals and cameras because we were talking about raccoons. I live on the top floor of an apartment building. About a year and a half ago, we had a problem with an animal running around in the space above the bedroom ceiling. Always heard him late at night, gave me the creeps. Maintenance people came in and placed a trail camera in the space above the ceiling. They found and removed a couple of squirrels. My boyfriend got intrigued about trail cameras and found some YouTube videos of people using them. To attract animals at night, no moon or other lights, people would put all kinds of food out and the cameras would take inferred stills and videos, sometimes using Wi-Fi or cell phone connections to send directly to the person who set up the camera. The thing that relates to the Heartland episode is a lot of the animals would sense the camera was there, even though the camera was camouflaged. Raccoons, deer, even bears would investigate the cameras, sometimes tearing them off their mounts before they would approach the food. Kind of funny seeing a bear come up to the camera and then seeing it inside of his mouth as he's chewing on the camera. Raccoons messing with Jack's security cameras, I can believe that.
Good to know because I was on the fence about that, but sounds a little scary.
Yeah.
I mean, there's squirrels, but still. So let's get into the Instagram comments. We can take turns. I'm going to start just at the top, I guess, from the comment from Passive Opinions. I don't want to echo too much of what has already been said, so I'll just add a little. I also loved this episode all season. Every time an episode ends, I'm surprised that it has been an hour. I thought they did a really good job of showing us that Lisa knows a lot more about Jack's life than what they have explicitly shown us. Yes, I agree. I need to stop stopping because I lose my spot. I really like Logan. I like that it's pretty obvious that he reminds Amy a lot of Ty without being Ty. Lou and Rick. And then there's like this smiley face. I can only imagine how many takes were scrapped because of laughing. I've never been so disappointed to be wrong about something. I was almost positive that Logan's dad was the culprit, given how much they emphasized that he was in prison. It seemed like a clear misdirect. I agree. On the same note, how lame that it was tied to the traveling fair. I'd forgotten how pathetic the Hudson police force is and that they couldn't put two and two together, but a 12-year-old can look at the info for literally 30 seconds and connect the dots. I know, yeah. Adrian's comment about Cooper's return during Aiden's live, was that a slip about later in the season or just a comment about him being there this season?
Then Linda said, great episode. I'm thinking of if Cooper is leaving, then maybe Amy will end up taking over the center and dedicated it to Ty, and this will be their legacy.
It's a cute idea. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with this center because it looks like Cooper isn't coming back, right? Well, I like these theories a lot better than what actually happened. Okay, Barb commented, I am loving Parker this season. I agree she has the Mallory feel. Wish she would have worked with Katie on Searching for the Watch, but her and Tim were fun. The Jack and Lisa scenes are rocking it this season. Loved the hand-holding. Loved the bond with Amy and Logan. Hope the new house they are building is for Tim and Jessica. Wait, what new house are they building?
I think the one
Oh,
from
right,
TikTok.
from that TikTok. Right, we still don't know about that. Okay.
What?
Logan, did you not see that TikTok?
No.
There's this TikTok about these construction workers posted on TikTok about them building some sort of something behind the Heartland Ranch. And we don't know if it's for Heartland or if it's just, the people who own it. Because the people who own it also built that big ass red barn in the middle of the set. That's what that is. Logan can be the boy in the loft. And of course, Lou and Rick are hilarious. I am disappointed with Cooper leaving. Thought he was going to be a good guy. I suppose it will be a twist that will make him more mysterious and less boring. Yes, he was so boring. And then someone replied under it, Jack and Lisa holding hands was really adorable.
Alberta Dreams commented, this was an episode 5 out of 5 stars to me. I don't even know where to begin. It was literally so good. I loved every scene. The duos were matched perfectly. Jack and Lisa, Amy and Logan, Lou and Rick, Tim and Parker. This girl really grows more and more on me. Gonna say one more thing though. Jack Bartlett. I don't know what's better, Lisa calling him Cowboy or by his full name. One more thing, those flashbacks with Shia Johnston, aka the young Jack, are acted so well. Sean and Shia, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, by the way.
I think it's Shay.
Shay?
Like SHAY. I think that's how.
Okay, are doing such a great job in this. Those scenes are masterpieces. Even the young boy as the Jack kid is just perfect. Wow. I just wanted to quickly mention, like, when there was that scene with young Jack in the kitchen and he was kind of like wiping away his tears. It's such a Jack thing to do with the thumb, like even the small details were on point.
Yes. Well, how many times have you not seen him do that on, the girls?
Yeah.
Very, very Jack thing to do. The season has been different in general. I say this every episode, but the editing and visual production seems different this season, and Lisa is playing a much bigger role, specific to this episode. So Lou has a quote-unquote boyfriend. It was suggested in an earlier episode that Peter had not said anything about what he had told her, and so who? And Cooper hasn't turned out to be so great unless something changes, and he shows no interest in Amy. I thought Amy was going to join Cooper's endeavor as part of her legacy and help troubled youth via horses in a similar vein to her mother. Now I wonder if Amy is going to take it over herself with Logan as an assistant. On the other hand, maybe there is more to Cooper's story. Adrian joined Aiden's live Instagram yesterday and said some things I wasn't sure how to interpret. Like, maybe it would be interesting to know more about Cooper's background and why he is in Hudson, although they explained part of that last season. Tim is sort of back to his old ways. Jack's voice has gotten deeper. I have also been interested in the young boy whom Amber posted a picture of as Reese. Looks like I now know where he fit in. It's interesting that even though Alex and other posted a fair amount There wasn't a lot going on filming wise that wasn't evident, like Jack's son, etc. And that was Sean's son. He looked different, and I wasn't sure. He may just look different because he's older. But yeah, that is Sean's son.
Stephanie commented, first of all, love the use of shadows slash lightning in this episode. For example, the scene with young adult Jack and his father in the house right after the funeral. His dad was casted in shadows, and there was darker lighting that really helped set the mood on how we're supposed to feel. And how we never really saw his dad's face in those scenes, that really set an eerie feeling and really showed how small, helpless Jack felt compared to his father. And in contrast to that, the scene at the lake, I love how it was at sunset. The lighting was warmer since it was a happy memory for Jack. Chris did such a great job directing this episode. Tim and Parker cracked me up. I need them to interact more. The amount of sass was brilliant. Speaking of sass, Rick was so sassy with Lou. Love those scenes of them together. Also, don't get me started on the whole laptop thing. Rick's face when he realized what Lou meant says it all, and then the crying laughter emoji. Amy and Logan working together was great. I love seeing them bond over the wild horse. Speaking of Logan, Parker having a crush on him was equal parts adorable and funny. Someone definitely said this too, but it did remind me of when Mallory had a crush on Ty. Also, Cooper leaving kind of annoyed me. Like, what the heck, man? I hate how he's leaving when things get rough. I wonder if Amy is going to run the place since Cooper is gone. I feel like that would be an interesting plot. Lastly, so much Jack and Lisa in this episode. I'm so happy Jack let down his walls with her and talked to her about how he was feeling and more about his past. The ending scene of them walking, probably because it says waking, behind the barn in the field was pretty perfect.
I love these in-depth comments. We have another long one here. Such a strong episode. It was really beautiful to watch Jack make peace with his past while his life went full circle on that powerful scene of him teaching Lindy how to fish. It was really nice to see Lisa getting the chance to be there for him. He, who's always been the rock of the family, needed to know that he's allowed to let himself be vulnerable in front of her. Amazing scene. Nice to see Sean's son, and was curious about the camera not showing his dad face. Oh, now we learned his name, Jefferson. About the whole missing computer thing, I was so intrigued, already thinking that it would be an interesting plot for a future episode, and it was all about loose and inappropriate photos. I really like Amy and Logan's connection. So touching, him saying that working with her made him feel like he belonged to somewhere. I guess she felt rewarded. By the way, how cute was Parker having a crush on him? I honestly never even picked up that vibe.
Yeah,
until
I'm
reading
gonna
these
talk
comments.
about that later because
Okay. It gave me lots of good old memories of Mallory and Ty. Sorry, I read that wrong. Parker and Tim worked out surprisingly very good, and now who is the guy with the tattoos might be? What guy with tattoos?
it's the guy who brought the stuff to the pawn shop because he was like, oh, it was some old guy with tattoos.
Oh, and talking about disappointment, I don't believe Cooper. I guess they're trying to make Sam look better in the audience's eyes. I thought Clint would ask Amy to step up. I know this was huge. Remember, you girls asked for our opinion. Yes, and we are never upset with long comments. So.
Yeah. Then HL Horses said, okay, long message here. First off, great episode. Love seeing more of Jack's past. And Lisa was actually involved, and it was wonderful. I loved how she knew his dad's name. Also, it's not Jack, so that's kind of surprising. And she was so mad she called him his full name, so that was great. Also, throughout this whole episode, I was thinking it would have been the perfect episode to see Jack's room. The flashbacks were great as always. Tim's and Parker's banter was hilarious, and Tim's whole obsession with the trophy and his reaction when he found it was super funny. Also, I got major secondhand embarrassment when Tim was talking trash on Logan as he was walking up behind him, and then his reaction to seeing that was Logan was pretty great. Also, in a previous podcast episode, one of you said Katie might have a crush on Logan, so you sort of called it because Parker does. So that you also called how Parker was going to find the watch. Impressive. Also, I cracked up laughing when Lou said she had inappropriate photos on her laptop, and then with Rick's reaction, because as older people all assume one thing, but then they didn't fix it, which had me surprised because it's Heartland. I thought they were going to clarify what Lou meant. She tends to exaggerate.
Exaggerate.
Yeah.
You
So
did really well though. That's impressive, brother.
So I thought it was going to be like pictures of her and Peter together when no one knows they got back together or something. So like we would get our laugh on what we assumed, but then they said what it actually was. Lastly, have we ever seen that side of the ranch house before when Jack's trying to fix the door to Lindy and Katie's room? I don't remember if it was in season 6, but didn't Georgie come into the house through that door? At least I don't remember if they showed it, but
There's 15 seasons. There has to have been a point where they've showed it. Maybe not as much.
In the 6th season, when Georgie comes and she steals the lasagna and like she's hiding out in the barn, don't they show it swinging open?
yeah, at least what I remember, but I don't know if they
Okay.
showed it from outside.
Because isn't it like Lou freaks out and then because the lasagna is missing and then she hears like a noise and then like
Yeah.
Jack and Tim come in or something? I don't know. I don't remember. That was season 6.
Yeah. Then they also said that Jesus scene where they are holding hands and the walking behind the barn. My heart. And then Heartland HL fan said the only thing that could have made that scene any better than it already was is if she had called him cowboy and kissed him. It was great. I'm loving this episode and all the Chisa, like soon to be 5 episodes in a row of them. That's amazing. And then HL Horses said, I agree, they definitely should have kissed. The scene was perfect for it. And then Thaisa said, haha, I thought Soile as well when Parker was searching for the watch.
Jenna, give us
Yes?
your review of the episode, darling.
It was good.
I was like, okay.
Okay, that's all we needed.
See you next week.
I did enjoy Amy working with, is it Logan?
Yeah.
I enjoyed those parts, but I really, really liked the Jesus scenes and seeing like it was mostly a Jack episode, so that's what I enjoyed. The
I agree.
robbery and stuff is just that's
The
all I could get.
RCMP are useless, apparently in real life and fictionally.
Okay, but anytime that they've had the police in Heartland, they just haven't helped. Like even look at like when Tim got shot and like the missing cattle and all this stuff. Like the only time they were actually doing something was when Lou was like, "Oh, it was so and so who shot AB and Ty," and they figured it out because it was what's his name's dad.
Well, how many times have they not taken the law into their own hands when it comes to like the cattle and stuff? Like,
But
we
isn't
don't
that
need law
kind of
enforcement.
realistic? I would assume as
Oh, yeah.
well.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Here in Alberta. I'm very curious to see why they have, Tim and Jessica apart all of a sudden. Like,
they're pulling Jisa with them. She's just gonna be gone traveling. And then so is Tim now, apparently. That's when he's not in an episode, we'll know where he is.
yeah, but at least it was explained this time where they were, or
True.
she was. So
Yeah.
Facts.
I was kind of disappointed that he was back to his jerk ways, but it may be because Jessica is gone and it's the trophy, it's his life work and all that. But like at times I
It
was like,
was
oh
on
yeah,
display.
this was town.
For people to enjoy.
How many
Yeah.
of these all-round cowboy trophies does he have? Because like
Just
hasn't
the
he?
one that he loves the most, I guess. And then he goes into the pawn shop and he's like, he grabs it. Ha! Tim Fleming! Tim Fleming!
How come this trophies come up into 2 different storylines? Like, didn't Ty and Caleb buy him 2 trophies once?
Season 4,
what?
episode 12.
Yeah. So why didn't he just be happy with the other trophy he had?
Because he's Tim
Because it's
Fleming.
Tim freaking Fleming. I know someone commented this. Why did they go to the pawn shop, get the watch, and they don't even give a shit about the TV or the stereo? I don't give a crap about the watch. I want my TV back.
I was really disappointed at that scene because I expected them to be like, okay, we're not gonna leave here until the cops come and collect everything. But
yeah,
we
want all our stuff back.
Yeah,
Apparently, just
but the guy was like, "Are you gonna call the cops?" And they were like, "Yeah," and then left. And I was like,
also, realistically, how long would they have been at the gala for this to happen? Like I'm just the reality of it is it seems very rushed.
Why would they steal the trophy and the watch? Why? Sure, maybe the watch. But you don't go in a house and you get all this computers and you get to that's a nice trophy. I'm gonna steal this trophy right here.
yeah,
I think
especially
I'm gonna put it right on my mantle. Who wants the trophy? No one.
yeah,
But
especially
who would
when he
turn
has his
around
name.
and pawn it off into the same town you stole it in. That's not how you do it. I'm not a thief, and I know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the same idiot who stole this trophy, the dude who had it at the pawn shop didn't even have it out because he's like, who's gonna buy this?
Yeah,
who's
maybe
gonna
he was
buy
like,
this?
I
But
could
also-
take this.
Donate that to the Goodwill.
When, like, say, prize saddles or like trophies or ribbons and whatnot, when they get stolen, because I know people who've had stuff stolen, if they go to a pawn shop, the pawn shop will call the cops and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I got this trophy with this person's name. Is there any sort of
Yes.
Search
any
the
But the
penalty
other
for
thing-
it?"
Why wasn't it already an idea to go look at the pawn shop? Why wasn't
Yeah.
that the first
The cops
idea?
are too busy eating their Tim Hortons or what?
They'd be stuck in
Probably.
the drive-through.
They're like, some dumb
I
trophy.
said double.
Oh, I forgot. They only have McCafe in Heartland World.
Yeah.
True. So yeah, that was like a little too cheap, like one of those cheesy Heartland storylines that
Yeah.
just it didn't need too much for it to be better. Just
Yeah.
a little bit more. I have no complaints about the Jisa stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I were to rate this episode solely on Jisa, 6 out of 5.
I mean, I like
That's
the
if we-
episode.
I liked the Amy storyline. I liked the Jack and Lisa storyline. I mean, it's not that I didn't like Parker and Tim. It was funny, but that's kind of where they needed improvement. And so was Lou's.
Yeah, but
computer thing.
before we move on to Lou, I want to mention the Parker thing because I also didn't realize Parker was supposed to have a crush on Logan, and then I
Really?
rewatched it
I
and I
didn't-
was like, I mean, I guess
I didn't even get those vibes
Yeah, me neither.
whatsoever.
It was like instantly, I was like, "Oh no, not this!"
I mean, I
But-
thought it was weird that she wanted to hang out, but I did not get that vibe at all.
But she was so over bubbly and giggly. I was like, "Who is
Like-
this?"
But
I
my
guess.
reasoning for those scenes was like, she hears everyone being like, these kids, and especially Tim, and she would have been like, I'm going to prove them wrong because I know that just doesn't add up because I know they were in the gala. Then I thought that she was just like, I'm going to like save his reputation and prove that, he's
Like,
a good guy.
investigate.
Yeah, like that was my reasoning for those scenes. But maybe it's
That does
because
make
it's a 12-year-old crushing on 17-year-old, so I didn't.
Mallory and Ty.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
but
Same age. Same
when I was
age
on
almost.
the podcast last time, we talked about how we thought that it would be Katie and Logan. I mean, we were close, but
yeah, but if they're gonna go down that road, like have triangle trauma with Katie and Parker, and then tear
I
them
hope not.
apart, I'm like,
It's
no.
like Amy, Kit, and Ty 2.0.
no, I'm over it.
I'm glad they aren't pushing Amy and Cooper though, because Cooper's like the most boring dude on the planet. So
Yeah.
bye, Felicia.
But it's so funny that everyone was like sending hate to. That's not funny, but like sending hate to
No, that's
Adrian. But then it's like nothing even happened. Like you're
No.
like rushing to
it's
conclusions.
not okay to
Yeah.
to send hate to actors because of the characters they play. And he even said that Kevin McGarry like warned him about it too. Poor Kevin.
Yeah.
Wait, somebody bullied Kevin?
Yeah, he
Apparently.
brought up Kevin McGarry, and he said that Kevin McGarry warned him about playing. I mean, I wouldn't call him Cooper a love interest, would you? But for the story's sake,
Yeah. Kind of like
playing
someone
someone's
who's
love
close to a woman.
yeah, or simply being a male, I guess, is what makes a person love interest on the show. But yeah, he said Kevin McGarry had talked to him about it.
Who was bullying Kevin? All the Peter stands?
I guess.
I mean, I guess. Well, you know how, like, people just don't know how to separate character from actor, and we get a lot of messages about how we feel about characters and that people think it means the actors, and it's like you guys have to separate the fiction from reality.
Anyways, I didn't realize when what is his name? The dude who plays
Cooper?
Cooper?
Adrian?
Yeah, when he was on the live video, I was like half not paying attention because it was glitching on my end.
I was scared that people were gonna be nasty in the comments, like, get out! But I don't think I saw anything like that, so thankfully. So, opinions about the Lou and Rick stuff?
I mean, I love them together. And speaking of this, going back to the live, Michelle talked about how she found out who was going to play Rick and her idea of who she thought Rick was going to be. And Dean Bennett showed her that clip of him on Jan. He's hilarious on Jan. And that's how she, found out about Rick. And she was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And he's also going to be on Jan soon. I think that's another update that we totally missed.
Yeah.
But I liked the storyline. I mean, there was a couple things definitely wrong with it, but I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, I thought there were like comedic parts of it, and I was surprised they went there with the pictures. But at the same time, before the episode aired, because Aiden posted those pictures of Lou freaking out. I was like, this better not be about Peter or something, because everyone's gonna be like, oh, they just got robbed and all she can think about is Peter. And now it was kind of like, it's like the writers hate her because she's so much smarter than this, like the password and the pictures and everything. And I was like, oh gosh, like not this. I would have preferred if it would have been about the budget cuts, because that would have made her seem more professional.
Yeah, it was. And is that why people think she has a boyfriend, is because of that comment? What people do, she probably just had a folder of pictures.
Yeah, because my mind went to season 14, like when Lou was FaceTiming with Mitch. So it was kind of like, I thought that it was from that time, when they were separate. Yeah, like something like that. Like that.
Would you keep that stuff? Oh God.
Maybe she forgot. Yeah, and she was like, oh, I never got around to delete those.
No, I mean, we all know Lou's looking at him. Don't lie.
Stop, Jenna. This is a family show.
She's like at her desk, like bored. She's like, oh, I better spice it up, and just opens up this folder.
She's like sexting Mitch or something, or Peter. She's at the gala.
I don't know. When she said it was something inappropriate, that wasn't the first thing that crossed my mind, even, to be honest, until she was like, pictures. I was like, pardon me, this is a family-friendly show on CBC.
Yeah. On CBC. Well, it's like every so often they touch like the tip of the line, right? The very line.
The tip.
This is a fun podcast. You can't say that.
You can cut it out.
It reminds me of season 3 because they really crossed some barriers there too with Lou and Peter, and then Lou and that creepy old dude.
And then the world's best lover, or whatever the mug said.
Oh my God!
When they were in the elevator.
Season 3. The elevator. Too. That was bad. Season 3 had a lot of that stuff. If you think about it, Jack and Lisa's world's greatest lover comment. Dude, I was like 10 when that came out, and I was straight up confused about that for a few years.
Poor innocent Isabelle. And then in season 5, when Ty's dad died, and Amy was staying over, and Jack was kind of like, and she was like, not like that, or something. Like, I was like, why would he assume that?
But that reminds me of season 7. They go and look at the ranch. Do you remember this? Do you know what episode I'm talking about? And then they come out of Amy's room, and Georgie's like, Georgie says something. The fans lost their shit over that. You know why, right? You remember that episode? Yeah.
And then when Ty got accepted for the school, and Georgie and Mallory were on their way to the loft, and Mallory was like, oh, maybe not. They're celebrating, you know.
Let's just give them their own time. And Georgie's like, why? And she's like, we'll just go to the house.
They're still celebrating. And then the wedding episode, of course, season 8, episode 18. And it's like when they close the loft door. And I remember watching this live for the first time with the cast and everyone. And you know what everyone's thinking, right? Like, oh, dear God. Just like, get it over with.
Bullseye.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's literally that one scene where Amy and Ty are laying in bed, and Caleb rolls into the trailer. And he's like, "Oh, sorry.
Are you
And
decent?"
They're like, it's.
And he's
fine,
like, "Oh, that's
napping."
disappointing."
Yeah.
Like, did he want it?
Caleb and Ashley. I remember the season 3 episode. They straight up. Carrie had his literal hand in his boxers in this episode, and then Ashley walked in and they.
You made me rewatch this.
What?
We're at my house. What?
No, there's
was
this
that?
episode.
Was that the Ring of Fire? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because remember,
He's just lying there in the trailer with his pants with his hand in his boxers like this, and he's just lying there. He's not doing anything, but it's just, you know what I mean. And then Ashley walks in and straight up like jumps on top of him, and I'm like, oh my god.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that, Soile?
No.
Oh god.
I need to
maybe you've
rewatch.
been trying to forget.
Yeah, maybe.
But also when Ashley comes back in whatever season it is, they're laying in the
In sin.
No, they're laying.
That's what they're laying in.
They're laying in the loft.
Oh man.
And Yu comes in and she's like, Amy's been hurt, and then like
She's like, okay, give me a minute.
she like looks at them, and then she's like, I gotta go. Caleb, can you
Gotta
to
go.
the house. So then Ashley's there, and Caleb sits up, and his hair's just, and I'm like,
Oh dear god.
Ah,
Yeah. This show's got a lot of sexual content in it, guys.
yeah.
What is going on?
Anyways, let's go back
All right,
to.
we talked about Parker and Tim. Did we talked a little bit about, we haven't talked about Amy and Logan, have we?
So I really enjoyed their scenes.
Yep.
I just feel like Logan has this like remember in the older episodes, like when you had Badger and like characters like that, like it just feels natural, and like you enjoy seeing what's gonna happen next, and it doesn't feel forced or anything. So I
Yeah.
it
really
feels like classic Heartland to me.
yeah.
Mm,
I really hope that he sticks around,
mm,
because I think it's kind of like during a lot of scenes in this episode, I kept thinking like, yeah, like of course everyone's comparing him to Ty and everything. It's not exactly the same, but I think the characters learned a lot from, dealing with Ty, so to speak, because, he was someone with, bad history and everything. So they kind of gave him a chance, and they were quicker to kind of separate him from his mistakes and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I think that was nice, and I feel like overall this episode was kind of like what Heartland is, kind of like a love letter to the fans, but also like the legacy of the ranch. And I think it tied nicely with his character.
I agree. I agree. I'm glad they're not making it too obvious that has similarities to Ty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're very subtle, but like fans would notice that kind of thing. And Amy, even said that she sees, Ty in him,
Mm.
but clearly like a healthier version of Ty.
Yeah. I don't remember if someone said it, but I would like if he stayed around
Yeah.
like as a ranch hand or something like that because
In the loft, there was that comment you had read earlier where they're like, he could be the boy in the loft, like
But
that
I
kind of
think
thing.
they were talking about if Tim and Jessica are building this house by the ranch. I think this person meant it would be in Tim and Jessica's loft.
it would be nice to see him evolved as a like horse person, but also like as a person in general, because he said something like, "This is the first time in a long time I've ever felt like belonging something," and I think it wasn't just about the place that he was like the Cooper's Ranch or anything. It was more like being accepted and feeling this like purpose of doing something. I also wanted to mention that I kept expecting Amy to comment something about the break-in that happened in season 11, kind of like, yeah, I've been there and I know that the feeling of being violated because someone came into your place, but nope.
They made it seem like it was the first time it ever happened on the show. And what was it, season 11, 10? 11? And in my opinion, that was even more drastic because that was personal and that was intentional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this robbery was just kind of random, but the last time that they were violated and broken into was a much bigger deal.
Yeah, because someone stalked them and then like created this like fear out of their personal like connections to them.
Yeah.
Like in season 1, somebody stalked them.
Yeah.
Wes, and then set the barn on fire, and then season 11 stalked them, broke in, like this season broke in. Like, how come that's a constant storyline?
Because they're running out of ideas for other
because that does not happen in everybody's daily life. Like, I don't know if they think that people can relate to that, whereas say like putting paint down or stuff like that, like your husband passing away, divorce, like that stuff's more relatable, I find. And I'm 22 years old, like I have none of that.
We don't know anything, but
I guess it's the drama.
For sure. That was probably the whole point.
To wrap it up the way they did though was silly.
Yeah, it was kind of like okay, some like, random thing.
Like I wish they would have had it go for a few more episodes at least, like
make it a
mystery. Kind of getting back to their daily life, but then still that fear in the back of their mind, like, somebody was here. Like, I don't
know. So what were your thoughts on, the Jack dad situation, young Jack, and then you have young Jack, and then you have Shay. So what would that be? How old would Jack have been there? Like a
20-something.
20s? Yeah, 20-something Jack, and then you have current Jack. So
the tale of 3 Jacks.
Yeah, in one episode. So what were your guys' thoughts on that?
I did enjoy seeing more of his past and kind of what he had made Heartland from, if that makes sense, because Lisa said like, you've created this safe place for us and everything, and I think that was nice to see, because I feel like even for fans, Heartland is kind of the safe place, even if it's fictional, but like for these characters, it's like this like haven of where you come and you heal and feel accepted, hopefully, and all that.
I agree. I thought that it was really well done, and they didn't mess with the timeline too much.
Yep.
Thank God. And I just so happy that they finally had Lisa there for these really hardcore Jack episodes. She wasn't there when season 10, episode 16, this episode, where they thought Jack had a long lost daughter. That was a really pivotal episode. She wasn't in. Yeah. She wasn't in when the whole June thing happened in the first place, and then all that stuff happening.
Will's death, or
all that stuff. So I was delightfully surprised that how involved she was in throughout the whole episode. And it gave some stuff that we've never seen with Jack and Lisa before ever, I
Yeah.
thought. And I also think anyone with daddy issues can really relate to this episode.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that they kind of paralleled the old scenes,
Right.
like flashbacks,
Yeah.
with Jack's paranoia, because
Right.
I feel like it was not only about the the burglars, but also about those feelings you've kept hidden.
He's
And
trying to keep them out,
yeah,
literally, figuratively. Exactly, yeah.
and then there was this trigger, and it just all came out, and it
Yeah.
was kind of
Well, it's what happens when you block out a lot of your childhood because of abuse or things that you try to forget. They come back up later in life. It's very relatable and realistic.
yeah. And I thought it was nice that they kind of gave him peace through Lindy, because she was this like innocent child, and she was like, let's go fishing. And then he was kind of like, oh yeah, like it wasn't all bad. And this is kind of what I'm living right now. Like I don't need to fear that anymore. And I can make sure that this kid or whoever comes here feels safe and protected.
Yeah. And it like broke my heart when he thought that he hadn't done that. It was like, no, you did. Shut
Yeah.
up.
I'm
But
glad it
they
was
did.
Lisa saying that.
Yeah. What did you think, Jenna?
I really liked it. I liked when they had flashbacks to, like, I mean, as gruesome as it was, like when they showed June and like to the episode last season and stuff. I didn't like how random the flashbacks were, though. I was kind of hoping that it would piece together a story, but I did like it overall, and I'm sure like Sean was excited to have his son there, and I'm sure they felt connected during that and whatnot. I really enjoyed that Lisa was the one who was like, no, like, it's okay, you can do this, and you've done this, and you continue to do this. But I can also see where even, like, say, Jack and Ty, like, Jack was always like, oh, very much a father figure to him, and like even last season when he was like, I didn't tell him I loved him enough and stuff like that, like I can see where those fears would come from with this trauma, right?
Yeah. I think, and the biggest, there's a lot of things that separates Jack from his father, and in a good way, but Jack might have some of those qualities. Like, we're all imperfect humans, but he's not abusive in any way.
Yeah, he can be scary sometimes, but he's never.
Can't we all? Yeah.
Yeah, he's never been that kind of.
He makes people feel
abusive.
safe.
Yeah,
He's a fictional character, and he makes real life people feel safe. So
I think that it's also interesting to see how his relationship with his father is compared to his relationship when they showed his grandfather. Him and his grandfather were very close, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if like that's his dad's dad or his mom's dad, but they've only talked about him a few times. But he was very like, oh, my grandpa, and he was close. And like when he was having those weird visions, he was like, this ranch will be yours one day. And
yeah,
like,
and
I promise.
I think he inherited a lot of those things from his grandfather.
Yeah.
Like his qualities.
And I don't think it messed with the timeline of that either, because Jack was so young in those season 1 flashbacks that it would make sense that everything was right and
it
that everything
kind of,
was
like
all at
yeah,
peace in the world until June died, right?
True.
Because that's when is that when the abuse started? I mean, I don't know how much detail we have about.
I think it was a little before June died, because wasn't Jack about to take a drink and June was like, no, don't.
So probably early teens, if not late teens. Yeah.
Wasn't it Jack was gonna leave and he's like, I don't want to be at this, like he was gonna go do rodeo, right? So maybe the abuse had started and then he was like, I'm running away from my problems. And then like he leaves June, right? So he probably, that's where he feels bad. And I mean, ultimately he blames himself. So
yeah. I have a couple of notes left. I've noticed they've kind of updated Amy's wardrobe. She's wearing tank tops again, and she had this like more like amber-like shirt on in the previous episode. I think that's nice.
Was it the orange one?
The like blue orange.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember them taking plaid out of her wardrobe a while ago, but was she not wearing plaid in the other episode?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I'm very happy that they've changed her wardrobe. It's nice to.
It kind of feels like she's getting back to her roots in that way as well. So I think
But
that's
reminds
nice.
me of how she dressed season 2 to season 5-ish. But yeah, it looks great.
I thought the directing was great. And I wonder, because there was that scene by the fireplace where Jack was having his flashbacks and he was watching the stone, grandfather's stone, and I wonder if it was scripted or was it something that they kind of thought of in the moment, because I thought that was one of those things that casual viewer would have been like, okay, whatever, but then
I didn't even know
the people who know.
Dang, CSI Finland.
And I noticed that the music was really on point in this episode, like the instrumental
I agree.
music they have playing in the background.
The editing's getting a lot better than it was.
Yeah, and I think it's been nice that they've kind of rotated the focus between the characters. Like first it was Amy and Lindy, and then now it's Jack, and I feel like maybe Lou's next. Next Sunday we have a new episode again, so that's November 14th, episode 5, Blood and Water.
Yes, and it's the cattle drive episode, so that's exciting. And Jessica, the character Jessica, is back, so that's cool too.
Yeah, I wonder if Lisa's there. Oh, she is, because okay,
there was like a like, I think her arm was in the preview, but I remember the blooper. She was in a blooper from that scene, so shut up.
Yeah,
I know that.
The description is Amy and Shadow find themselves in jeopardy on a cattle drive. Lou feels overlooked when the issue of Heartland Peeves' succession plan is raised. Parker and Katie babysit Lindy and things go awry.
Okay, so all right.
But I wonder where Lisa is, because in the bloopers she comes, or no, it was the season 15 launch, where she comes back to the house and she's like, how's it going, girls?
So she must have been like at work at Fairfield or something, because she had stuff in her hands and the girls were babysitting. So yeah, I'm excited. Well, thank you for being here, Jenna, and thank you for waking up early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anything for us, I guess.
It was fun.
It is fun.
The podcast is fun. Then I can talk about Heartland. So
yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Do you want to say part of the closing line this week, Jenna?
Okay, what's the closing line? I forget how it goes.
Okay, well, Soile will start, and then I'm sure you'll know.
Oh my god, how can you forget?
This is the third.
I think third or fourth time, yeah.
But you're listening our episodes like daily, like on a repeat, right?
Yeah, I listen to them when I'm doing stuff.
Well, from now on, you will remember what the ending thing is, because till next week, we hope that you keep your noses clean. And
do you seriously not remember?
Powder dry?
Woo! Yes. Congratulations.
You're not fired.
You're not fired or canceled.
Yeah.
Sweet, another episode done.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I thought of a joke, by the way, because in the third episode, it was the like when they had the gala, like we had that picture with Jessica Steen's missing leg. So I was wondering if Carnival people took her leg as well.
Oh, dang. At least we know where it is now.
Yeah, the pawn shop.